and welcome to our show for the love of animals. We want you to get paper and pencil because we're going to have some great money-saving tips for you about pet care. I'm Darleen Pigford.
And I'm Greg Baur, and you probably better get a ream of paper today.
That's right.
Because there's lots of things to take notes on. So anyway, we've
got some upcoming shows,
yeah,
Greg.
we want to tell our viewers about that. We've got one coming up, part 3 of the quilts. Those of you that are familiar with last year know we did parts 1 and 2 on quilts from the Quilt Museum, and we're doing a part 3 this year, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to do a show on eagles. So you'll find, and lots of other interesting things, so just stay tuned for all those things. But Darleen, what do we got in store today? You've whetted our appetite already.
Oh, absolutely, Greg. You know, it's a good idea at any time to be very frugal with your money.
Absolutely.
But particularly in, in times when, the economy is a little rougher and there are kind of disasters going on in our community and everything. So today we got a special guest to give you some money-saving tips on how to still give quality pet care. So why don't you introduce our guest, Greg?
Well, we'd like to welcome along with our resident dog, Wicket.
Oh, yes, Wicket.
Mr. Excitement here this afternoon. But our guest today is a person who's familiar to our viewers, Judy Hardy, who's been on some of our shows before. And Judy, thank you so much for coming this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Having
me, rather. Usually there's 2 of us.
Right.
Yes. But, and Judy, you are proprietor of Creatures Great and Small, which is a nonprofit, no-kill animal organization here in McCracken County. And so would tell us just briefly about that, and also what's the current status of your fur family?
Okay. Well, like you said, we're a nonprofit. What we do is rescue animals, cats and dogs. A lot of times we'll go to shelters and there'll be dogs or cats on, usually we don't do cats, we've got so many cats, but there'll be dogs on death row and we'll take them in and our fosters will help us take care of them. Right now we've got puppies especially. We've got, it seems like an abundance of puppies that we need to try to find good homes for. We've got some cats. I've got some bobtail cats that's going to be up for adoption soon. Very sweet, very loving cats. And actually we're doing quite well, even though the economy is in the fix it's in. It hasn't affected us too much. We see a drop off on some adoptions, at times, but then later during the week seems like we get a call and we adopt some more if it doesn't go too well at our adoption. So it's kind of, it's not as good as it was, but it's not hurting us. Own. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right, now explain to our viewers how you take care of it. You do not have a physical shelter, right?
No, we don't. Like I said, we have some great fosters. If it wasn't for our fosters, we just couldn't do it. I know I couldn't do it alone. But like I said, the fosters will take in some animals. It'll either be cats or dogs. We have like cats or dog fosters. Hardly ever do we. I think I'm the only one that has cats and dogs, but because I have a place for them. But they will take in the animal and they will keep it and treat it just like it's theirs. They will take it to the vet. They will worm it. They will see that it gets the proper care and the proper food. And when we have the adoptions, then they will give them a bath or whatever they have to do and to make them presentable and bring them to our adoption. And usually that's at PetSmart.
And for at least, I think, with the food and the vets, you help them out with
right,
those costs.
Definitely.
So
we have a free food. We have to pay shipping, but we get it at a lower cost, and so we do. We help out. Sometimes if we're running low on donations, then some of the fosters will pay for the food themselves, but if not, but a lot of times we just help them with the food, give them what they need for that particular animal that they're keeping.
I said you didn't have a shelter, but I do know that you have a lot of the animals that are either unadoptable or hard to adopt on your place, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, in fact, you have quite a few cats. And
I think 40-some last time I counted.
Ooh.
But I have horses, so I have a barn, and my husband helped me make a little room, especially for cats. And I have like heat lamps for them to come in and get out of the cold. Then I have a little facility that we made just for us, and for the cats as well, and they can go in or they can go out. We have a screened-in area on the back.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then I have some in the house, and then I have some that just go where they want to. So it's quite a. And then I have right now. I did have up to 12 dogs, but now I have only 8, because I've only 8.
Yes.
I adopted some that I didn't even think I would ever adopt. I thought they would be with me quite a while, but they're here, and I still have some more that would make excellent pets. So but they are all special. They are very much a part of me.
I gotcha. So with all of this experience, you're having to take care of many, many animals. So this is the person that can really give us some money saving
absolutely,
tips.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're going to branch out on health and flea control and food and comfort. So Judy, let's get started.
Okay.
In the area of health, how can I give as good quality of care, but maybe keep my costs under control?
Right.
What can I do?
Well, like you brought out, underneath health, we would always think of what is going to affect the animal, what things that might bring the health to a lower point. Fleas, like you just brought out, would be one of the main sources of health problems with animals.
Okay.
I found, and now we have to take in consideration a kitten. You can't put flea control on a kitten under 8 weeks old.
Okay.
So what I'm going to tell you about a kitten, you can apply to a larger animal to save money as well. But I have received kittens that are just loaded with fleas. Oh, and that causes, I mean, some of them even die from having so many fleas. So what you can do is give them a warm bath with maybe a little bit of dishwashing Dawn liquid. Now on a kitten, I usually dilute that because sometimes it's a little bit strong to use on a kitten. So therefore, if you can do that with the kittens, then you can do it on your larger animals, your cats and your dogs. You can just, that won't prevent fleas from coming, but it will kill the fleas that are on them.
Oh, okay.
And then we can use a comb or one of your flea combs like that.
There you go.
And we can brush the dog and the cat, and we can remove a lot of fleas just like that. And it's very expensive sometimes to have the preventative, the flea control, but in the long run, that would be the very best if we could afford it.
Yes.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, in a sense, we really can't afford not to do it.
Right, because of the health problems that it causes.
And not only for the animals, but for humans.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
we don't want all that in our house.
That's right. You mentioned using Dawn or shampoo. You brought along this eucalyptus oil, and one thing you told me you could do was to put like 3 or 4 drops into, say, a cup, and this will help with the fleas.
Definitely.
And definitely you said start at around the head and work backwards, so the fleas will run. And you don't want any of this in their eyes.
No, definitely not.
Or their ear, right. So you have to be real careful.
Yeah, that's another, to cut costs, we can definitely do that.
Right. And even though this is small, you only use a few drops.
Right, just a few drops. So you find it'll last you a good long time, to control the fleas.
Okay.
So there's many home remedies that you can, you can even buy books that tell you certain remedies that you can use to control different things. So this is one of them, this homemade remedies, how to make hundreds of everyday products. So it has a chapter in here on wholesome natural pet care products. So it shows us how we can,
use things around the house.
Just like, a cocktail flea dip, and the flea bandana like you were talking about, and even flea powder.
Okay.
So, you can go to the even library. It might have a book that's related to that. If you couldn't afford to buy one.
Right, you don't have to buy the book. So.
Or you may buy a book among several people and share it.
That's
exactly.
right.
That would be a great idea.
Okay.
Another thing that would be under health would be worming.
Okay.
Worming is another thing that really affects, worms affect animals. Say, for instance, a kitten, he might have a bloated belly. He might have diarrhea. He might be very lethargic. He might quit eating. All that brings to mind that he probably has worms, because that's part of the symptoms of having worms. So the wormer is not that expensive. You can go to your local vet. You don't really have to take the cat in sometimes if your vet knows you, and he will sometimes just recommend that you can just buy it from him, and you can worm the cat yourself. He'll tell you how much to use and that kind of stuff. If not, you can even go to you know, one of our local pet stores. They
Right.
sell wormer.
Great.
But that applies to dogs and cats, you know, because it's very, puppies and kittens especially are really affected by the worms.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, and the one kind of worm that you can't do much with, your vet really has to help you with, is the tapeworm.
Well, that's true. But yeah, but you could go to him and he could give you the pill. It is a little bit more expensive than maybe the regular wormer, but there is something for the tapeworm as well.
Okay.
Well, let's move off tapeworms. And why don't we take a break? And we are going to have a happy tale, Greg, about a dog named...
A wonderful Dalmatian
named
Kona.
Kona.
So,
listen up.
Hi, my name is Kona, and I'm a 16-year-old pink-back Dalmatian. I came to live with Jay and Char when they were in California and I was just a young pup. They tell me that I am moody, but I don't think so. I'm just a senior dog with my moments. We moved to Paducah about 4 years ago, and I really like it. Sometimes I like to come downstairs and see the people who come into Char's studio. It's really nice to be a retired dog. When I was in California, I used to run and play on the beach. I also enjoyed playing with my 4 cousins, Lucky, Rambo, Juno, and Traveler. Juno was my favorite. I really miss seeing and playing with them. Thank you, Char and Jay, for my wonderful, loving, forever home.
We hope you enjoyed that wonderful little happy tale about Kona. Well, let's return to our discussion dealing with health issues and some things with fleas. And Judy, what about the eyes and the ears and some of the other parts of the dog that also need to have some concern along with fleas?
Right. The conjunctivitis is, you can find that in cats and dogs.
Now that's redness around the eye. Okay.
And
pink eye.
Pink
yeah,
eye.
right. And most vets will have something to put in the eye, but a lot of times it's very expensive, you know, when you if you can't afford it. So I mean, I've been told by several vets that you can just go to one of your local stores and get a triple antibiotic, which is not expensive at all. And even though it doesn't say ophthalmic, you can still use that in the cat's eye. But the main thing is keep it clean. Take a little warm cloth and keep the eye clean, and then add that to it, and then that way, you know, you're not paying a lot of money for the expensive ointment to go in that. Now, sometimes they'll have an abscess or something, so I mean, that's not going to work with that.
That's a different story, right? And of course, if it doesn't clear up within 2 to 3 days, you need to take a different action. Okay, that was triple antibiotic ointment.
Right, any brand.
On the eyelid.
Yes, yeah,
right.
just make sure it doesn't have cortisone in it.
All right, you don't want cortisone in there. Okay, and a good thing too, before you could check with your vet.
Exactly, I would suggest doing that anyway. At least call him, and you know, if you have a good rapport with your vet, I'm sure he will tell you.
And just regular artificial tears is sometimes also okay to put in your cat's eyes.
Right, right.
Okay, that could be soothing. Okay.
Another problem is mites, especially in cats' ears.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. It seems like 9 out of 10 would have ear mites. And, you know, the treatment, you can take it to the vet and they can treat it. They can give you several different things for it. But just a few drops of cooking oil in the cat's ear will kill the mites. And, you know, just keep it clean. Don't ever use a Q-tip to go down in its ear canal, because that's not, you know, you can harm the cat that way. But just take like a soft tissue or something and wipe it out. Keep it clean and just do that several times. And
if you get too much oil, then all you have to do is take that Kleenex or paper towel and wipe the ear.
Right.
I also know that when you put something in, you should massage.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Massage the ear so it gets down in there. So, well, bless you. Thank you, Wicket.
He massaged his ear too much.
Okay, so any kind of oil like Wesson oil or mineral oil, olive oil, but just a little bit.
Just a few drops is all that's necessary.
And then this is not just one time. You might have to repeat.
You have to do it several days in a row. Yeah.
Okay, all right, so repeat it. Because you can...
And, you know, even though you get rid of them,
they
come back because, you know, they just do. And so you want to check your cat's ears or dogs, cats especially, you know, every few weeks just to make sure that they don't have them anymore.
I understand if you try to hold the cat's or dog's ear and that hind leg starts to moving, that's probably a sign that they have.
And if you pet the animal over that ear, they'll shake their head. So you can pretty well tell when there's something wrong like that.
Okay, that's ear mites. So, okay. Can we return briefly to fleas? You were telling me about check to make sure it had certain property like the eggs. Would you tell our viewers about that?
Right. Okay, if you use a commercial type flea control, you want to make sure that it would kill the larvae, the eggs, and also kill the fleas, and also some of them have a heartworm preventative in it.
Oh,
and
really?
So, yes. So your vet will tell you which one that is and which one you can use, but that's being it covers all those areas, then that brings the cost down as well.
So that's why sometimes you can use a flea product and it kills the fleas,
but
it doesn't
kill the
eggs that bring on new fleas.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
And that's something also that you can do at home. Some of the flea remedies come in larger quantities.
Right.
And your vet can show you how to take parts of those, and you can use it on several animals.
Sure.
Right.
Exactly.
But you check with your vet.
Right, to make sure that would be what you would need to do.
But at home, if I can flea comb and brush my animals and vacuum a lot, that will help.
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so.
I did some work for the internet for this show, and I found that if you put mothballs in your vacuum cleaner bag, that would kill the eggs that you might be vacuuming up from your face. So I'm going to go buy some mothballs.
Yes, I am too.
Oh boy.
but be careful, you don't want your pets getting into the mothballs. So
that you can sure tell when mothballs are around.
Oh, yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
And I think we mentioned once before, but maybe just to reemphasize that when you are flea treating your animals, start from the head and work back. Don't work toward the head because it just brings it all
like
up.
a shampoo or something.
Right, with a shampoo, because it all goes to the face, when you wash the cat. So you have to be real sure you get all the fleas.
Okay.
And some of our viewers may have heard of many other topics too. So, ways that you can work with the fleas and the health, and we'd sure love to hear about them.
Right.
We could sure include them on another show. So.
Yeah. You can, like you said, I don't have any websites, but you can go on the internet and find out a lot of information on that.
Okay. Well, I think it's time for us to take another short break. So we have another happy tale about a white pigeon.
And this is the first one. This is our first pigeon.
Yes, and we hope that you enjoy this, so we'll see you in just a few moments.
Hi, my name is Racer, and I am a white racing pigeon. I'm about 4 years old. One day, I was in a race near Indianapolis, and a storm blew me off course. I was terribly frightened, and I didn't know what to do. Somehow, I wound up at a home near Reedland, Kentucky. The homeowners called Rhoda and asked if she would like to take a lost dove. I tried to tell the people that I was a pigeon and not a dove, and Rhoda confirmed this to them. She then took me to her shelter. I had identification bands on both legs, and Rhoda was able to locate my owner in Wisconsin. My owner was shocked that I had been found and was so happy. He told Rhoda that I had won several races. So she shipped me back to my owner, and now I am back in my happy home. I hope to win lots more races, and now I have a chance, thanks to Rhoda.
What an interesting story about Racer. We are so indebted to our many rescue organizations. Rhoda's Four Rivers Bird Rescue is one. We're also indebted to people like Judy Hardy, our guest today, who rescues cats and dogs and animals in our vicinity, and they always need our help. So Judy, Greg and I would like to make a donation to Creatures Great and Small, and this one is in memory of Larry McCullough. A person who volunteered so much in our community. He was a supporter of veterans and also an advocate for animals. So please take this in memory of Larry McCullough.
Thank you very much. I sure will. I appreciate that.
And if anyone would like to make a donation to Creatures Great and Small, Judy, where do they send the donation?
Well, you can send it to Creatures Great and Small, and I'm sorry?
Your post office box?
Post Office Box 9173, Paducah, Kentucky. It's 42003.
And if our viewers wanted more information about your shelter, what's your website?
Okay, our website is www.helpthecreatures.com.
Okay. And if I needed to phone you about a problem or whatever, maybe I want to volunteer.
Oh, that would be good.
How do I reach you?
Okay, 495-0773, 270 of course. Okay. And that is like a hotline. You can leave a message and we'll get back with you as soon as we can.
Because you're out busy taking care of the animals.
Exactly.
Well, while we're in the process of giving out information, Judy, you have a couple of websites dealing with the whole topic that we're dealing with today of health and food and all kinds of things.
Money saving, low cost.
For your pets. What are those two websites?
Right, okay. One website is Animed, is ANIMED.org.
Okay.
Okay, that would be a great one. It's great tips on keeping your pet healthy and happy. Okay. And then another one is www.spcawake.org. Okay. And this is, funds can be available for medical help for your animals if you've qualified.
Okay, so in other words, that's a list of potential funds that might help with health care. And you showed me the list, and there's too many of those for us to give out, but that's the site where you could track that down.
Sure.
It's a good place to start, and they can contact either you, Judy, or us, and maybe we can give you some more information.
Right.
So
that would be great.
We were talking a little bit earlier about baking soda, and the fact that baking soda has a lot of good uses, not only for maybe teeth, for your animal, but also in cleaning. So what kinds of things could we do with baking soda?
Well, most chemicals are very harmful to pets as well as humans. So, you know, we can put it in our litter pan, we can wash their litter pans with baking soda, we can wash their, even put it in our wash water when we
wash their bedding.
I'm trying to say. So it has many functions that we can use baking soda for. And when you do clean the teeth, they have toothbrushes designed for dogs, but that would be expensive too. So you can just take a small cloth and put it on your finger and wipe the dog's teeth off like that. And it's recommended that you do that quite often. The dogs have bad breath just like humans. So it helps in control the tartar on his teeth, because you know, cleaning is very expensive when you take them to the vet for that.
Now for cats, you want to be a little more careful.
Yes, a little bit more careful. And providing some crunchy type food helps break that tartar off, so any of that stuff would be good.
So that works equally well.
Yes.
And of course, when cleaning and washing, we'll water with a little bit of bleach in it.
Right.
Those kinds of things are all good cleaning
Right,
techniques.
we have to do that with, you know, with like litter pans. We want to, you know, the baking soda is good, but if we want to kill germs, we have to use the bleach. But we want to be careful with it around our animals.
Like 1 to 10 if you were water to bleach, okay.
Right.
And we were talking about teeth, which brings up a topic near and dear to us all, food.
Yes. Well, how do we save money on food but yet give our animals good care?
Well, nutrition is the foundation of all good health. So we want to be frugal in picking our dog food, but at the same time we want to buy dog food that's going to be maintain the health of our pet. So many times people will go and just get the cheapest thing they can find, but sometimes that leads to health problems, because down the line, over a period of time, you know, they might get a dull coat, they may be just not as active as they could be, they may be overweight. So it's what we want to do is read the labels on our dog food and cat food, and we want to make sure that the first product is usually meat. Now, someone brought up a question to me, which would be best, all meat diet or all corn diet in dogs?
Okay.
But really the answer is neither. Because a dog has to have, while meat is great, it would be harmful just to give all meat and not get the essential minerals. So you want to be, you know, you want to look at the labels and make sure that you're getting the very best food for the money.
For the money.
Now, we realize that people can't always afford the best food, but sometimes when you buy a premium dog food, you can feed less, which saves you money in the long run. And then you don't have the health problems that maybe the low nutrition type dog food or cat food would bring, that, cause health problems in your animal. But at the same time, we can also maybe incorporate maybe a cheaper food with maybe a premium food, which would help in that area as well.
And we're so guilty of overfeeding our animals, aren't we?
Very much so.
So you would recommend watching the serving.
Right.
Get yourself a measuring cup, right?
And read on the package. It tells you how much you feed them. But we just tend to just pour and, you know, we don't really look. And another thing is to think of is dry is always better than wet, because a wet canned food is like 80% water.
Yeah.
And 20% meat, so you see where your money's going.
Right.
You're buying water. So the dry is always the cheapest and the more economical.
And dry cat food or dog food can be used as treats, so you can kind of cut that out of your budget if you want some cost cutters.
I know my cats love canned cat food, and it's hard to get them off once you've had them on. But sometimes I'll have like 5 or 6 cats, and I'll just open one can of cat food and just give them all a tablespoon just to give them
a taste.
Yes.
Time is beginning to slip a little from us, but just very briefly, in maybe 30 seconds or so, what about toys?
Toys.
Okay.
The comfort aspect of this.
Right. Toys, again, is kind of like the dog food. You can buy a lot of cheap toys, and they tear them up and they don't last.
You're talking about big dogs,
right? Big dogs, especially. Yeah. So I know Wicket likes little toys, and they last
if it squeaks,
for him.
he'll have it.
Right. I brought along just a few things here, like for cats. You can just get just an empty bottle and put some dried pasta or peas.
Something that shakes.
And I just put this around it just to make it a little more interesting, and just roll it on the floor, and they love that. That's not expensive. Cats are always interested in movement more so than the toy.
That's
I don't
true.
care how expensive how much money you spend for a toy. They don't really care. They just want the movement, and you know. So that makes an excellent toy. And just for cats also, just a paper ball.
Absolutely.
I mean, they just go. Like I said, here it again is the movement.
Gotcha.
Dogs, you can buy a rope at any of your stores around,
and just
put knots in them, and that's just like the toys that we buy. And like I said, I brought this toy before, but with your big dogs, if you want to invest in this is a real tough, sturdy,
and
durable, and it lasts a long time. Instead of buying 3 or 4 cheap toys, buy one good toy.
Well, we're not lasting, Greg. We're running out of time. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, but we've just barely begun scratching the surface.
Judy, thank you so much for all of these money-saving tips, and I know our viewers have gotten a lot of good ideas, and thank you so much for the website, and thank you for what you do for animals in our community.
Very,
well, I appreciate you having me, and I would recommend highly that people do their research, and they can always find ways to save money.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, in closing, let's see. We've just got so many ideas. I don't know how to end it at this point, except to say it's the start of some stuff that you can really do some research on. But, Darlene?
Well, I'm Darlene.
I'm Greg, and we just want to remind our viewers, as we do every day, give your pet a little extra love today and every day. And watch their health, and you can save money.
That's right.
See you next time.
Bye.